So what we covered in the last class?
Yesterday we covered view indexes,
Perfect.
index, non-clustered index.
Fine. Mm. Okay. So what is the main motto of index?
Main motto is index is to improve the performance and to fast the search process.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
Yes, because there are a there would be a chances in the database would be a huge record,
Mm-hmm.
lots of records. So if you are not using indexes, then it will search one by one. It will take a lot of time. So
Mm-hmm.
we need to create an index so that the search process will fast.
Okay. Fine. Okay, so fine. Up to now, like we covered almost bigger topics, like in interviews, they might ask you about why we are using index. They will ask, means the question will be like this. Yesterday, I'm running the query and which completes within 2 seconds. The same query which I'm running today, it's running from the hours. So what is the issue? How you proceed that? So in the sense you can inform them like see it depends of in records. Suppose yesterday the table might contain 100 records. Now today when the data load happen it might be millions of records. So that is how your performance will
Mm-hmm.
be decreased. So in order to avoid that you should create index on the columns. So which column you can create an index? Especially keep in mind, especially you can use wherever you used where clause. Wherever you have using where clause, right? So there you have for that.
Mm-hmm.
Suppose I just use select star from employee list where ID equal to 3. So you should create index on ID. So they might ask which how you know which column you will create index. Suppose table can contain 5 to 6 columns. How you know which column I can have to create an index? So which means you can
Mm-hmm.
inform them wherever I have where clause, after the where clause, whatever I have
Mm-hmm.
columns, I can create index on those columns. Okay.
All right.
So let's see today's session. So we are going to know about temp tables and table variables. Let's see how it will be. Variable temp use practice.
What is the
I couldn't able to hear you, Abdul. Can you please repeat? Hello.
hello?
Hello. Yes. Now I can hear you. Yeah. Tell me.
Okay.
Oh, you're asking something.
Yes. What is the stored procedure?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you. That is the last topic which we are going to cover. Before temp table and table variable, we are going to cover the store procedures. So after
Mm-hmm.
cover this temp and table, we will cover the store procedures. That's what I just. Why? Because if you know these two topics, then we can know the store procedures. Okay. Uh,
All right.
temp table. What is mean by temp table? Means it's a temporary table.
Temporary.
It's a temporary table, which means what is the difference between physical table and temporary table means. Uh, You were creating a table, which means you have created a table. That table will be going to save under your physical disk, physical database, which means this is your database
Mm-hmm.
and this is your practice and this is your tables. Whatever you created, all the tables will be existing,
Mm-hmm.
and until unless you drop this table, the table still remains until unless you drop.
Okay.
Okay, but if
Mm-hmm.
you create a temporary table, it's a kind of a temp, it will be acting as a same like normal table, but only difference is it will be the premises, the validity of this table will be existing only at that session. The validity of this table will be existing only at that session, which means session means nothing but this is the one session,
Mm-hmm.
this is one session, this is one session. The window, each window will called as a one session. So keep in mind, if they will ask what is a temporary table, temporary table we are using for the to perform temporary operations. Why we are using temporary tables? In order to not to save that table in your physical disk, which means it's not a permanent operation, it's a just temporary operation. For that purpose we are using the temporary table. So once your operation is done, then you should not need to delete and
Okay.
drop anything physically on your table. It will go automatically until session gone. So what is the syntax? What is the syntax of creating table?
It means temporary.
Yeah, it means
I'm sorry. Temporary
what is the
table. It means the table which has existence till the session is going on. Once the session
correct,
is stopped, temporary table would delete automatically.
correct, drop. It will drop automatically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, drop out.
So what is the syntax of physical table?
Create table, table name.
Table. Suppose my table is employee, so I could create ID int name worker. So
Okay.
I have. So then what is a temporary table means? You just put before the temp table, you just put hash. That's it.
Okay.
So if I create, so
Okay.
then SQL will come to know, okay, this is a temporary table. So whenever
Mm-hmm.
your table name with containing hash, which means it's a temporary table. Temporary table. See, I'll go to the new window, new query. If I
Mm-hmm.
want to select it, let me see how to select the records into the temporary table. So I told you now, it's like it will be acting as a normal physical table. How you are dealing with the physical table, the same way you can deal with the temporary table. Select star from hash emp.
EMP.
See, like this ID and name. So you can insert records.
Okay.
Insert into
Insert into
employee
has EMP ID. Has
select
EMP.
one comma.
Right.
See, it happens. So now
Yes.
it's just acting as a common table. So let me select the same thing. I'll copy here. Let me select the same thing here. So if I want to select this, see, you are not able to. You can see there is no invalid object,
Mm-hmm.
which means this
Okay.
temporary table
Mm-hmm.
is existing for this session only. Like you can execute the same query in anywhere of
Mm-hmm.
any part of the thing. Like until this session will be active, you can able to access the query. Got it?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But the same query you should not supposed to do here, which means this will be existing here only, not here. This will be active here only, not here. This session doesn't know anything about this
Okay.
table. So there are two types of temp tables.
Mm-hmm.
which is using for temporal functions. So there are two types of table we have. One is global temp table, another one is local temp table. One is global temp table, another one is local
local
temp table.
table.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
which means it's very simple. No need to worry about anything. So let me copy. This is global. This is local. This is example of local. So now you cover the local, and this is example of
Okay.
global. So what is mean by global means if you define single hash, it's a local which is existing on one server, which is existing on which you create on double hash, which means
Mm-hmm.
it's a global temp table.
Okay.
So I'll insert execute. See now I got it. Sorry, not this. See, I just inserted. If I want to insert the same query here, if I want to select the same query here, see, I'm able to access this table here. Which
Okay.
means now you tell me the difference if you know, if you are aware anything, if you understand anything. Now, what's the difference between they might
Yes,
ask in interview?
in the temporary tables, um, if we make a query on another session, on another uh, what I can say,
Session, window, session,
yeah,
whatever it is. You can call
another window, then it will not execute. But when I create a global table, uh, global temporary table, and we write a query on another session, it will execute.
it. Okay, perfect. This is the main difference. But uh, when till when this exists, so local temp table will exist until the session get closed. So
Mm-hmm.
like how global temp table will exist, like when it will drop, even it will also drop automatically. When means till your parent session. This is your parent session, na? This is the parent session, which means in which session you created the global temp table. If you close this session, you can't able to access you. I'll do one thing. So okay, you are not close this session. So I'll do one more thing. I'll do department. You created a table. So let me select the same table.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm, mhm. See now you are getting the back. So when until when this table will active means if you close this session, if I run, which is not like it means if you close the session,
Okay.
it will not exist. The session will be closed. Like
Mm-hmm.
so, then you can tell me you can add one more point also, like a local temp table will be existing on till that session. Global temp table will be existing till like a global temp table you can access in another sessions also, but it will be existing till the main session get closed. ठीक है?
Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
Okay. So uh, another topic. So
Yes, I
now,
can hear
hello.
you.
Another topic. So now, hello.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. So now the thing is variable. I'm getting echo. I think I don't know that. So in variables, Abdul, have you heard about variables?
Yes.
Can you please mute, Ajay? Can you please mute yourself? Uh, okay. Okay. So what is mean by variable?
Variable is the data type. It means it,
Like you are using right in your regular time. So like what variable used to do
it's the
usually does.
variable we define some data and like in A is a variable of integer type.
Perfect. Perfect. Nice. Which means a
And
variable is a object which can holds, which can acquire the value. Which means if you pass a value to the variable in your
Mhm.
down code in your next level in the coding, you should not pass the same value every time. Instead of that, you can pass the variable the
Mhm.
way you, in the top level. If you assign the value to
Okay.
the variable, then automatically the same value will go to the all levels.
Mhm.
Correct. So like that, even SQL
Yes.
also you have the topic called variables, which means so you have the same like data type int, varchar, float, whatever you have the same data types available in the variables. How to declare a variable means like you in other language you can int a you said uh, character b like that. So it's a vice versa opposite. So to declare a variables means you have to mention declare a int.
Mhm.
So how SQL will understand this is a variable means like how SQL will understand this is a temp
Mhm.
table temp table. How SQL see if you remove this it will be existing as physical table. Correct.
Normal table. Yes, physical.
Yes. If I mention this SQL will understand okay this table is temporary table. Like that if a is SQL doesn't understand what it is. SQL never understand oh what why user defined a I couldn't understand this. So in order to mention this is a variable you should put at the rate. Okay, which means this is how you have to declare a variable. Declare syntax is declare variable name data type. Got it? Hello.
Okay.
Okay, so how to insert a value into the variable means how to update how you are assigning the
Mhm.
values in update statement. How you are assigning the values in update statement, like I just want to update the HR with admin in your employee table. How you will do? Hello.
But what is the use of variables here?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you. It's what I'm saying. I'll tell you what is the use. You can come to know in a store procedure. What is the use of variables? You will come to know in a store procedure. But that's what I couldn't explain you store procedure without explaining the variables. So the application like the functionality you will come to know at the place of store procedures. Okay. So how you are assigning values to the variables, like how you are assigning, like how you are updating the values in a update statement. Can you tell me? Hello, hello.
Can you hear me?
Are you getting any network issues?
Hello.
Can you disconnect and rejoin again? Hello.
Sir, he is disconnected. Wait.
Okay.
Hello.
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 Hello. Abdul. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Was so bad.
Hello. Uh, is it audible
Yes, I
now?
can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Fine. That's good. So my question is, how you are updating a value in an update statement normally?
Um.
Update command. Can you tell me the update command?
Yes. Update.
Mm-hmm.
Then uh,
Table name.
table name. It means EMP.
Okay. Then
Then uh, set values.
correct. Hold on. Hold on. Which means set column name
Mm-hmm.
equal to value. Which means what you are
Mm-hmm.
doing in that part, you are assigning, you are updating the value to that command, to that particular column. So there you
Mm-hmm.
are using command called set, S-E-T. So the same thing you can use here.
Yes.
That's what I'm set at the rate. See, if you just do at the rate, just displaying the list of variables equal to
Mm-hmm.
1. Which means
Mm-hmm.
wherever I have suppose, okay. So I just want to display one means you can use print command. Printf you have now in C language like that you have print.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I can execute this. See you can able to display the one.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So like that you can use varchar 50. You can assign. You can print that. See,
Mm-hmm.
which means so this is a basic functionality of your variable. Excuse me. So a variable which contains which holding the value. So this value this variable you may have to use in the below coding level. So to display the to do some functionalities. I'll tell you what. Now we'll
Okay.
go to the main thing, the heart of the SQL Server.
Mm-hmm.
After joins, this is the main like the priority two is join store procedures. Stored
Mm-hmm.
procedures. You're asking now, so you might get the like multiple questions, not multiple questions. They might ask you, have you worked on stored procedures?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
All
what
right.
is procedure normal ideally?
Procedure
What
is
is
it's a set of rules to
correct?
process something.
Correct, absolutely. Which means procedures is a set of rules which if you go and bank to provide your Aadhaar card, which means you have to provide your some ID proofs. This is the predefined rules, so which you need to follow. And
Mm-hmm.
so in the same thing in a SQL server, if you are doing some operation each and every day, some operation, just you think that at least you are simply selecting the queries. You're just selecting queries, select star from table. The same operation you're doing every time when you come to office, so which means that is a procedure, which means that is a this common procedure function on the common function which you are going to do every day. So
Mm-hmm.
why stored procedures will come to the picture means if the same procedure, if you are doing multiple times, why you are doing every time, why you are going to spend the same time to do the same functionality. So
Mm-hmm.
SQL, what it did means it just framed this set of instructions. It just stored into the one common object. I'll tell you
Mm-hmm.
example. So you want to first you have to do select you have to select the employee table. Then you have to update the employee table. Then you have to delete the employee, drop the employee table. Then you have to truncate the employee table. So you have to do these four operations every day. Step 1
Mm-hmm.
select, step 2 update, step 3 delete, step 4 drop. This is the four functionalities. Every time if you want to do the same thing, so every time you're doing all the things like same functionality, so your time will get raised. So in order to overcome these
Okay.
things, what happened means a SQL introduced the methodology called stored procedure. You can kept all these
Okay.
four steps under stored procedure instead of calling, instead of creating all these four steps manually every time. You can simply call the
Mm-hmm.
stored procedure and execute it. Then it will handle inside what you defined. Means if you define all these four steps under one stored procedure, instead of calling these four steps, you just execute the stored procedure, exec, execute stored procedure name, then it will take care of what existing behind that. Okay, I'll tell you
Fine.
example. Now you understood the functionality, like not even technical I'm saying, I'm just saying overall overview
Yes.
about stored procedure, which means if you want to do repeatedly some operation, you can put that operation in the stored procedure. The next time when you want to perform the same operation, instead of doing the same large functionality, you can simply call the procedure, you can execute it, that's it. It will take care about the rest of things. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the store procedure syntax is create procedure, procedure name, input, input variables as begin, SQL statements 1, end. So this is the syntax, which means create procedure, procedure name, input variables, like input you can use as a parameters, not variables.
Mm-hmm.
Input parameters begin, and what this is the SQL, like SQL queries which you can perform between begin and end, then
Mm-hmm.
end. So I'll give you a simple example. So see, I'll tell you one example. So I just want to perform one thing. Select start from
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is your table salary list. I just want to get the total salary. Otherwise, I'll create one live. I'll give a live example. I'll create a table. Create table marks. I'll create a column. Mm, Student name.
Hello.
Abdul, I'm just creating a table. Just give me a minute. See, I just created a table. Hello, hello. Abdul, are you there?
He went offline, sir. Hello,
Okay.
Abdul. Audible to you? Hello, Abdul. Hello, Abdul. Am I audible to you? We are not hearing you. Can you please join with your mobile app? Sir, he is facing network issues.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, Abdul. Are you hearing me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay, fine. So I just created a table which is naming
Mm-hmm.
as marks. That table containing
Mm-hmm.
student ID, student name, and what are the different languages where they are getting marks. So just
Mm-hmm.
read this. If I just want to get the student name and what are the marks which they are obtaining for the particular student ID. So where
Because your math.
okay, you got the thing English, science, and maths.
Mm-hmm.
So which means I just have the table which contains see which I'm like have you seen in your like what your PUC your 10th your CBSE time when you are studying at that time, so when you want to know the result of your examination you can provide your hall ticket number, correct?
Yes.
So whenever you're
Mm-hmm.
passing in hall ticket number in a checkbox in the application, so if you press submit, so that you will get the list of your student name and all the details with the marks, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Which
Mm-hmm.
means every time, so just assume this is a scenario. Every time if you want to, so not even now, whenever your stored procedure will come to the picture, think this. Example, every time if you want to pass your task is like this, you have to pass the student id, which means hall ticket number, you can get the result. So
Mm-hmm.
instead of every time I'm preparing the query, I'm writing the query, instead of doing this I can do this, which means I can just create a stored procedure, which means like in a backend, like you have a .NET page. In your .NET page, I just created ASP page which have a checkbox which can accept this hall ticket number. If I manually enter this, then my backend code will execute and it will display the results. For this operation, I just created a store procedure. So what is
Okay.
syntax of store procedure? Create procedure. I'll just procedure name is marks
Mark.
list. I just name as a mark list my procedure name, like how I
Okay.
created table name, how I created view name, how I created index name, how I created constraint name. I just created a procedure name. So
Okay.
there is a parameters, like how you there is a two types of parameters. One is input parameters, another is output parameters, which means if you are passing values from outside, you're injecting the values to the procedure, which that means input parameters. Whatever you are getting result, that result you have to get it like through variables, that is output parameters. So here I just want to pass my value as hall ticket number. Here I'm just passing my value as a hall ticket number, create procedure name hall ticket number as begin. So I just want to write the query select. I'll write the same query here,
Mm-hmm.
and along with this student name in marks, and I just want to make the sum also. I just want to make the sum, which means I can use English plus science plus maths as alias
Mm-hmm.
total marks from table. So if I do this, let me execute. Say I'm getting total marks. So instead of passing 103,
Okay.
like here manual value, I'm just using this input parameter here. This is the variables will come to the picture here, which means wherever in this code, below code, wherever you want to pass the value, instead of suppose just assume I have 100 lines of code between my begin and end, 100 lines of code existing between my begin and end. In that case, all
Mm-hmm.
100 time I want to pass 1 or 300 times, it's very difficult for me. Correct, right? Correct. Now if I have 100 codes, all 100
Yes.
lines I have to assign the, suppose you are assigning 103, next time you have to change it to 101, all 103s you have to replace with the 101. So this is a difficult process. Instead of doing that, you can just declare a variable, you can assign it. Instead of changing 100 places, you can change it in one place at the time of setting the variable. So all, that variable will call the values and it will assign it to the all queries. Okay.
Okay.
So this is my store procedure. So I just created the store procedure like this. Execute. Done. So if I want to execute my store procedure, you can execute it anywhere, no issues. So if I want to execute means execute
Mm-hmm.
syntax is exec execute procedure name mark list. So I just pass the hall ticket number 100. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So here is execute command store procedure name. This is your input value, which means this 100 will go and assign into the hall ticket variable. The value will be go and assign it to the variable, sit into the variable. The variable wherever whatever value is there, that value will be going to use in everywhere. Okay. So let me execute this.
Okay.
Okay. Mark list, marks list. So it should be S.
Remove record.
See, I'm not writing any query. I'm not writing anything into that. I'm just executing marks. So if I'm writing 101, I'm getting this 103. I'm getting this 105. I'm getting this. So based on the input parameters, so you can execute the. This is you nothing but it's nothing but. So you just defined one set of rules. This is the rules set of functions under the procedure. So instead of calling the same rules every time, you can call the procedure. That's it. That is the main thing, main functionality of stored procedure. That is what very important thing. Why? Because in a real time, all the definitions, all the rules, all the functions, they defined under the stored procedure, and whenever they want to do the operations, instead of calling the bulk query, instead of calling the large query, instead of calling the large script, they just call the one line store procedure. Just execute procedure name, they can execute, they can do the rest of functions. Got it? Hello.
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 Can you hear me, Abdul?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So can I think you have seen this
Yes.
the last thing. So the last thing in the class session. This is the what I just created the store procedure.
Mm-hmm.
So which means it just perform the certain operation.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a select query. I just built it. I think you have seen this, right? You saw this when I'm explaining. So execute store procedure name and just passing it.
Mm-hmm.
If you execute this, so it's just giving these values. Like instead of running the whole query, you can just execute the store
Mm-hmm.
procedure. Just exec store procedure name
All
and
right.
it got it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how a store procedure does. Okay.